This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by OOMM Board Games and No Escape. Can you escape Titan Station? No Escape is a fast-paced strategic maze-building tile-laying game for 2 to 8 players. Use actions against each other, play maze tiles to increase the maze for your opponents, and move using a creative dice system. A game takes approximately 30 minutes and is easy to set up and take down, which makes it an ideal game for travel or family events. Be the first to find the escape pod. For everyone else, there is no escape. This game launched to Kickstarter yesterday. Go back it. And if you need to know more about it, go listen to the interview of episode 180, our Wishlist Wednesday with Jonathon from OOMM Games, where he talks all about it and some other gaming things. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is also proudly powered by Stupid Users Beta Card Game. Stupid Users is a unique, fast-paced, ever-changing, item-looting, armor-building game based off of the comic book that the creator created. We'll have the creators on to talk all about this today after the Kickstarter Corner, so stay tuned so you can hear all about it. This game is launching to Kickstarter on the 4th of September from Damp Ventures, so make sure you go ahead and click on the notify button up at the top so you'll be notified when this project launches. Yeah, notify me of launch in the top left-hand corner. We'll leave links in the show notes. Now, hang on until after Kickstarter Corner so you can hear our great interview with the creators of Stupid Users Beta Card Game.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leafs computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leafs.
There's a couple or a lot of awesome games that are on the Kickstarters currently. We'll bring you a few in today's Kickstarter Corner. Do you like baseball? Then you're going to love All-Star Lineup Baseball, fast-paced tabletop baseball. All-Star Lineup Baseball, fast-paced, head-to-head, or solo baseball action on your tabletop. We had Craig, the creator, on a while back ago, and what I like about this game from talking to him is everything is on the table. You don't have to keep referring back to, as Little Leaf calls it, the collector's manual, or the rules, as we like to refer to them by. If you like this kind of game, I would definitely check out the Kickstarter page. We'll leave links in the show notes like usual. And you better hurry and get on this one by the time you're hearing it. It probably has about 48 hours to go, so it's drawing to a close. So definitely check this one out as it ends on Friday, the 31st of August at 3:53 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So you better get in so you can get in on the baseball action for your tabletop. Next, Dark Naga, OSR Haunting of Hastur modules. If you like role-playing games, all 5 parts of the Haunting of Hastur series are in print for the OSR. That means old school rules. And this project recently reached its goal. At the time of this recording, they were $22 overfunded or over their goal, and they still have through this Sunday, the 2nd of September. So definitely check out Dark Naga OSR Haunting of Hastur modules. If you have any questions, go back and listen to my interview that I had with Kevin a while back ago to find out if this is your thing. Can you rub your tummy and pat your belly at the same time while listing off the different planets in the solar system? Do you like laughing with others while they try to complete other fun and bizarre tasks? Then definitely check out Survival of the Dummies, a party game for underachievers. In this trivia-based party game, teams take turns answering questions while being distracted by ridiculous or frustrating instructions. Back the full game on Kickstarter or try before you pledge with a free print-at-home demo at survivalofthedummies.com/subscribe. We'll leave all the links in the show notes. But this one you have through Saturday the 8th of September to back this great game. So go check it out before the other people survive you. Next is Battle of the Bosses. Battle of the Bosses is a multiplayer miniature battle arena game for 2 to 6 players, where each of you controls an epic boss and their minions. And Barbarian Leaf and I were totally geeking out over their miniatures a couple days ago or a couple episodes ago, and you still have through Friday the 14th of September. So definitely check out Battle Bosses by Kesco Company. Go back and listen to my interview with Alex if you have any questions about that one. And did you ever play Truth or Dare as a kid? Then you'll definitely want to check out this new game by Jackwagon. It's a strategic party game for people like yourself. Players perform challenges to earn badonkadolars. The most money after 60 to 90 minutes wins. They reach their goal, and you still have through Sunday the 16th of September to back this game. As we're a family-friendly podcast, as you know, the one we can get behind is their family-friendly model, which is option 1. It's PG-13, so to play their family-friendly way, play the green challenge deck only by removing the jacked up cards and excluding the Jackwagon deck, our family-friendly version, acceptable for teens ages 13 to adult. So that's the one we can get behind here on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Next, do you like zombies? Then you might like Zombs, a half-brained card game. It's a fast, fun, zombie-themed, retro-style card game featuring a flying pig and a unicorn riding a tank. That's right. And if you go back and listen to Monday's episode, I believe that's when we talked to the creator of Zombs, a half-brain card game. This one you have through Friday the 21st of September. So definitely check out Zombs, a half-brain card game. It looks fun, and there's also an awesome comic to go along with it. Reminds me of the Garbage Pail Kids, and that's where they drew some of their inspiration. Last but not least on today's Kickstarter Corner is, I don't know how to pronounce this, but AUTEUR Designs. It's a casual card game about collecting paintings and outwitting your opponents. They're almost to their goal as well, and there's still 13 days to get on the action, as it doesn't end until Tuesday, 11th of September. So definitely check out that. Like usual, we'll leave all the links in the show notes. And if you like old art that looks like from paintings and fun gameplay, definitely check out this great game on the Kickstarters. Now we join this interview already in progress.
Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Welcome to IT. The crazy hacker Dermagiker has infected all the employees in the Giganticore skyscraper with a spam email that turns them into energy-craving zombies. He's going to release to the world unless you can stop him. Being one of the only few that didn't open the email, it's up to you and your fellow champions to save as many employees as you can and defeat Dermagiker. You are the last thing that stands between Dermagiker and his growing horde of mutating energy zombies. It won't be easy. You'll have to fight, steal, loot, and hack your way to get the best gear and be the first one to get the biggest army. Welcome to IT.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me neither, but this is the story of Stupid Users Beta Card Game, a new game on Kickstarter, about to launch the Kickstarter pretty soon here. And tonight we're lucky enough to have on the creators and masterminds behind that great game, Mandy and Matt. Is that correct? Is that how you guys fall in line with Stupid Users beta card game?
Yeah. So we both, our company created Stupid Users, the game. It's based off a comic, actually, a graphic novel that we're releasing at the same time. About these group of IT guys who are saving the world against this crazy hacker. It's kind of obviously absurd and fun, and it was based off the time that I worked as an IT guy myself, so there's a little bit of therapeutic as well.
Awesome. Before we get into that, let's rewind a little bit if we could. We don't have to go back too terribly far, of course, unless you guys were born into tabletop board gaming. But how did you guys get started into playing tabletop board games and whatnot?
Well, I mean, myself, I've always been a gamer of all kinds. I love board games, video games, and it's just always something I've really wanted to get into. And after I've done writing the comic, I just like, man, there's something really cool here, and I kind of wanted to do a card game. I grew up playing Magic and all those, and so I thought it'd be kind of fun to such a rich world, and could be a fun card game, and so that's how we kind of dived into it. And then Mandy, she was
I played games growing up as a kid, but it's more of the standard run of the mill kind of games like Monopoly, Sorry, Uno. Card games of all poker types like blackjack and Texas Hold'em and Up and Down the River and all sorts of games. Like I've always loved games. And so Matt and I, when we met, we played quite a few games, but they were all those standard kind of tabletop games that I grew up with. And so I ended up getting into board games when our friends Chris and Christy came over, and we were playing. They brought Exploding Kittens, and so that like kind of opened up my mind to like, wow, like there's some games out there that are fun that aren't for 8 and over, like real games. And so that's when we started working on beta, and that's how I got into it. And now we have like a ridiculous collection, like probably 100 games, and we just like started going crazy 3 years ago.
That sounds pretty similar to us. So I imagine you've played all 100 games.
Of course not.
No, we buy them and like, oh, we got to play that one, even just to check it out. And there, time obviously takes its toll. So
yeah, so some of them ended up being a lot heavier, and so the learning curve was more than I could really kind of handle during the week with work and kids and school. So we kind of float towards shorter filler games, and then on the weekends when we have the gusto, we'll bring in something heavier, like what was that, Space Ranger one?
Yeah, I really like miniatures games, Imperial Assault, and I grew up playing Axis and Allies and stuff, so that's where my love is. But I'm trying to get Mandy into that stuff as well. So
yeah, which I like. I like strategy and I like that kind of stuff. It's just a matter of time and brain power.
Yeah, I completely hear you on the time, the brain power, and the heavy games. Usually, my wife, Lady Leaf, she's usually the one that had been doing the rules and stuff for us. Otherwise, it takes me forever to get through the rule books, and if there's not a video out for it, forget that. And yeah, so we have a bunch of games on our, I've heard it called a shelf of shame, but also a shelf of opportunity as well. Is there anything on you guys' shelf of opportunity that you'd like to get to the table? I guess probably after you get done running the Kickstarter, because those can be quite labor intensive.
Yeah, I got Dinosaur Island recently, and I really, really, really want to play that. Like, I'm super excited about that. And the other one that I haven't played, which I'm sad because I got it a long time ago, is the Grim Forest one.
That's been sitting on our shelf for a while too. The Grim Forest.
Cool.
It's so cool, and my kids are like all over it. But it's like I said, like sitting down for that time is something we just haven't been able to make because we've been so busy. But those are the top two I can think of. But I know I have a ton more like Lucidity, Six-Sided Nightmares. Did you see that Kickstarter?
I probably did, but I don't recall. What can you tell us about it?
That game it's the art on it is just beautiful if you're into like dark horror theme type stuff, which I really like. Like Stephen King's my favorite author, and I just like dark stuff. But the art on it's beautiful, and what was cool about that one is he ended up doing, I think, a lot better than he expected, and he ended up creating a deluxe version, and part of the deluxe version was family-friendly kid art, which is super cool. So then I could take it and play it with my daughter, who's not quite into dark stuff yet. She gets too scared. So that's a really cool game. I wish I'd like to get on the table for sure.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I just have to say, well, yeah, we have plenty of them, but most recently, I got Clank for Christmas. I'm trying to get that to the table, as well as most recently I picked up Megaland, which is another deck builder that I want to get on the table. I've watched the videos and gone through the rule books a few times here and there, but other than that, trying to get them to the table, like you said, has taken quite a bit of time. So, yeah, so those are the two that I'm trying to get to the table. And then my son also wants to get an even heavier one, or so it appears, and I can't find a good video, but Ray Guns and Rocket Ships that was on Kickstarter quite some time ago.
Oh, yeah, we know Scott. We've been at a number of things with Scott, convention-wise. He's a really cool guy. Have you met him?
No, not in person. I tried to get him on the podcast a while back ago, but timing didn't end up working out. I'm going to try to get him on sometime, but he's pretty cool, you say?
Yeah, he's a really nice, upbeat, cool guy, and we met him right before his Kickstarter launch. I think it was last year at Kingdom Con. That's the first place we saw him, was Kingdom Con. I take it back. I think I met him at Protospiel in San Jose. That was our first playtesting thing ever, and that's where I met him. And I didn't know he was doing ray guns and rocket ships then. And then when we went to Kingdom Con, his stuff was everywhere, and I was man, cool. The art is beautiful.
I love that type of theme.
Yeah, it's like that retro.
Yeah, I love the retro stuff, anything retro, and then my son really wants to get into it as well. But yeah, just trying to find the videos and the time, like you said, it's crazy. And then speaking of time and stuff, it seems like your time lately has been dedicated to something completely different. Word on the street is you guys have or about to have a new game on Kickstarter. What can you tell us about Stupid Users beta card game?
So Stupid Users is a 4-player card game where you each have your own deck, and then it separates out and it goes into 2 different piles. And so the goal of the game is to beat everybody, including your Magicker, in the game. So you need to gather either 10 minions or spell the word beta. And it's all drawing cards. It's a very super simple, easy game to learn. It takes 15 to 25 minutes depending on your learning curve. And once you start learning and recognizing the cards, it actually moves pretty quick. But it's super fun. It's witty.
All the art comes from the comic, and so the game itself plays directly into the world and everything. And the game also has an AI component, which is Dramagicker. So he's out in the middle there, and after each player goes, Dramagicker gets a turn. And if you don't keep him in check, he'll actually win the game, and
then everybody loses.
And so then you can blame someone. But it's just a real fun game to play with your friends. Very light, humorous, obviously, and
yeah, trash talking, throw your friend under the bus kind of game.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So it's competitive, not co-op.
Yeah.
There's a cooperative element in that none of you want Dramagicker to win, but that's the only cooperative piece.
But I have seen a game where someone decided that he would rather have Dramagicker win than his friend sitting next to him, so he threw the game by letting Dramagicker win.
Oh boy, awesome! So per se, we were to sit down and play this game. What do the turns look like? Like if I was playing, what would my turn look like? And then what would Germanica? Is that how you say it?
Dramagicker.
Dramagicker.
Every player. So you start as an IT guy, and you draw or IT girl, right? You start as a champion in the IT team. And you draw cards, and then you get to play actions. You get to do things like steal other people's weapons or gear. Because throughout the game, you're trying to get your own weapons to make yourself more powerful and loot things. And then you do what's called an attack. And so you get to attack one of the other players or Dramagicker and steal their minions and to build your army bigger. So the first one that gets to 10 minions wins. So that's the goal of the game. So then after your turn, Dramagicker then gets to draw cards, which are in a separate deck called the Zombie deck. And he acts on those cards. He can also get weapons or attack you, and he actually spawns the zombies onto the table. And so as the game goes, his army goes bigger, and you need to attack him and gain the powers. And so it just goes that way until someone wins. The other part of it is as you're drawing cards, you can get infected, and then you start playing the game as a zombie player. So now you and Dramagicker are drawing from the same deck. And the game play changes a little bit, but the goal is the same, to get 10 minions. And the cool thing about being a zombie is you can activate all these really crazy powers on the zombie soldiers now. That if once you learn it, you can learn to chain these events that can win the game pretty quickly for you if you know what you're doing. So there's it's a game that's up and down. Like you could be on top and then then you're losing, and that could be frustrating for some people. But it's quick, and so if you have a bad game or you get knocked out, the next one's starting real quick. So we made it a very party game. We don't like people getting knocked out and not having a fun time. So that was the goal of that.
Well, that's good. Yeah, you don't want any table flipping.
Exactly.
You never know, man. People get mad sometimes.
Some table flipping, but yeah. So I mean,
it gets really annoying when certain people win a lot of times in a row.
Yeah. The cool thing is, like, it's very rare that two games are the same. Like, there's so many different things that can go on, and depending on your luck and the cards you draw, you're going to have a different experience every time. So it keeps it interesting.
So a lot to replayability then.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, and if I'm looking at the pictures right, maybe it's just me or not, but I'm seeing like somebody in something that looks like a Ghostbusters suit as well as a Thundercat sword, or is that just me?
So there's some references there that people will get. It's not the Thundercat sword. It's actually so that the game and the comic, all the characters are obsessed with a video game in the story called iWar. And the guy that you see that has a sword, that's his sword that he ordered online that his character plays in the game. So during the apocalypse, that's the weapon that he gets to use to be the hero. So if you notice, all the characters have their own little unique weapon, and that plays into the story of the character they are. And it's kind of some absurd office weapons, and so yeah, you'll see a lot of references to things that I grew up loving, and
pop culture, just stuff that we love.
Okay, so I'm not going to complain about that. So this is actually the second one in a row. Last night I interviewed somebody who currently has a game on Kickstarter. Currently, it's called Zombs, a card game or whatnot. And they actually have a comic book as well. So maybe let's rewind a little bit. What can you tell us about your comic book?
So yeah, I wrote it. Like I said, the idea came out of when I was in work in IT. And, all the users were getting spam emails all the time. And just, I have a creative mind. So I'm like, well, what if a virus could be transmitted through the spam email and turn people into these crazy zombies? And so the story just kind of blew out of there. And now it's up to the IT team to go and, save all the users that open this spam email. So it kind of puts people that, wouldn't normally be the hero into the hero role, which is kind of fun. And it takes place in this skyscraper called Giganticor. And the Giganticor skyscraper is pretty much a city within itself. The employees live there, the food there. They pretty much, once you go into Giganticor, you never leave. And so that's where this virus has spread by this hacker, Dermagiker, who is one of Philip's nemesis in the game iWar. So there's a cool component there. And we find out some secrets about how they got infected, and it kind of unfolds for this team now has to go stop Dermagiker before he releases the virus to the rest of the world. So the story takes place of them, being stuck in this big Giganticor skyscraper and working their way up through the levels and finding out all those zombies that are now mutating from this virus and getting crazier and crazier as they ascend the skyscraper.
Now, is that something that's available for consumer consumption?
So part of the Kickstarter is we're releasing, when you get the game, you actually get the 100-page graphic novel with it as well. So we're releasing it both at the same time. I just thought it might be a cool bundle, and you also get a digital version that you can read online, and like a world navigator built in this software that I've been designing. That lets you kind of dig into the character stories and all that crazy stuff if you're interested. And plus, there's a lot more content beyond the comic book there too. So
awesome. So what's that going to put somebody back if they want to get like the comic book or graphic novel and the game?
So the base is $25, and that will get you the digital copy and the reader and all that world stuff that I was talking about, plus the 4-player game. And then for
we're still bouncing back and forth on the price, and we're thinking we want to try to get it at $49 for
$49 would get you the printed comic book and the game as well. So
along with these cool little roundy characters that I don't know if you saw them. I don't think we have them on our Kickstarter. But anyways, they're these super cool little crocheted fat body, skinny legs, skinny arm dolls that my friend makes that are all based off of the Stupid Users world. And so part of what we want to include at that $49 tier is one of these little tchotchkes along with that 4-episode comic book and the 4-player game.
And we're doing some little printed minis too, like figures as well. So we're gonna have a run of figures as like a bonus as well.
Oh, they'll be the miniatures or standees or what? What exactly will they be?
It'll be a mini, like a miniature, and it's really more of a like I said before, a tchotchke. And one of our stretch goals is we have some alternate play and that sort of thing. And eventually we would like to be able to work in some minis just for fun into that. But this one that we'll be giving away is specifically a tchotchke at this time. And it's most likely going to be of Philip. And
the guy with the sword and
the guy with the sword. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And then we have some other upgrades you can do. You can actually get yourself drawn into the card as one of the cards, and
or a zombie. You can be a zombie, which is cool.
Or there's one character I've left open for the last part of the comic book, and you can actually become one of the characters in the final episode of the comic. So those are the kind of the fun things we're doing with it.
Okay, and you said there's 4 volumes. So are they not all written, or what's that look like?
They're all written. We're just getting the art on the last one, and so we're in progress right now. So
about halfway with inks, and colors are over to the colorist, and it'll need to be lettered that last episode. But the other 3 are done. So we plan to have that finished before the Kickstarter is done, and then it'll go straight to print.
Yeah, we were going to launch last year, but it was waiting on me to finish the comic. So,
well, there you go. I guess you finished it, so that's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, just scrolling through the limited art that I have in front of me, it looks amazing for the Stupid Users beta.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So I know you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but if somebody likes what they've seen and they like what we were talking about or whatnot, when would they anticipate getting their games?
Our goal, what we're going to put is that we're going to deliver by April. However, I hate being late. That's why I'm saying April, with the goal to get it sooner. I mean, all of the cards, the art is done. They're ready to go. We're finishing up the rule book. The 4-episode comic is done. Like, our bids are in, like, we're ready to go. It's just a matter of giving us some extra time in case there's an issue with something. Like, I just don't want to be the one saying, oh, I'm sorry, it's late. So we're promising April with the anticipation of making that happen without a hitch.
Would they be able to get their digital stuff before then, or will that all come at the same time?
Yeah, so we can launch that as soon as the Kickstarter's over and everybody that back can get their digital and the World Reader, that stuff that should be ready pretty soon here.
Awesome. And the Kickstarter is going from about September 4th to October 4th. Is that what you said?
That's correct.
Awesome. So, yeah, we'll make sure we leave links in the show notes so they can go ahead and at least check it out and see what you have going on. Now, you guys sound like you might be a little bit biased when it comes to this game. So is there any other people reviewing it or previewing it that they can go see what they thought too?
So I have games mailed out to, I think my last count was 14 different reviewers all over the world. So we'll be getting Logan Chops is one of them. We'll be doing a thing with Unfiltered Gamer with Michael. There's a couple upcoming reviewers. Board Game Mechanics is doing a review. I'm trying to think. I'd have to grab my list.
But also, we'll be at Gateway. Next
Strategicon
weekend.
Labor Day weekend. We'll be at Gateway all day and all night, Friday to Monday.
We'll be doing giveaways, and you can come play test the game and check it out. And we'll have a table there and a play test area as well.
So when and where is that? In case somebody's bored this next weekend, or?
Oh, it's in Los Angeles by the LAX airport.
And it's called what again?
It's called Gateway by Strategicon.
Okay, and if you get us any links and whatnot, we can make sure we leave everything in the show notes or whatnot.
Great convention. They rent out the entire hotel. It's on like 3 different floors. I mean, there's just tons of stuff. There's things for families to do, and they go all night long for people that want to play. Like they do that. What's that big game? Werewolf.
Yeah, the werewolf.
The werewolf game. They do that. They do it all night long. They have RPGs. I mean, they've got miniatures, like tables and tables of these beautiful scenes. I mean, it's amazing.
It's a cool weekend.
It's a really cool weekend. So we'll be there on Labor Day, and then we'll be at Long Beach Comic-Con in Long Beach, California, the following weekend, the 7th through the 9th.
Okay, awesome. So, yeah, they can look for you there or whatnot. Now, per se, somebody, they were busy, they missed their exit or whatnot, or they weren't paying as close attention as they would have liked to. So and it wouldn't be because of you guys or your great game. It'd be because of me and my podcast. We're at the end of August, and at the time of this recording, since the first of the year, I've released 141 episodes. So sometimes they get a little tired of hearing me drone on and on. So sometimes they pass out or whatnot. But now they're suddenly jolted awake, so they don't hit the oncoming traffic and whatnot. Why should they take a chance on stupid users beta card game, especially with all the other great games out there on the Kickstarters currently?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really fun world that a lot of people can get into. It's not too heavy, so if you just want a light game that's fun and it's got really cool art, I think it's very unique. There's some game mechanics that you probably aren't going to find in other games.
There's lots of player interaction, which is good too. So, I mean, it's an icebreaker game. It's a gateway game. Like, I think this would be a good game if you only have friends that play Monopoly and that sort of thing. And it just gives you something different. And like I said before, it's witty. You read the cards, you laugh. It's a fun just world. And the fact that you're a zombie, then you're not a zombie because it's a digital virus, not a physical biological virus.
Awesome. And like I said, we'll make sure we leave links in the show notes or whatnot. And I'd say even just for the art, and if they don't, maybe they don't have that much money, but even just for $5, it looks like they can get the print and play version as well as digital comic access. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you just want the comic, you can just get that. Like I said, it's a 100-page comic, and there's going to be more, and we're going to keep evolving this world and keep expanding it. So that's just the start.
Okay, so it's going to be more than that. It's 100 pages.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to keep going. So I have a lot, I've finalized the 4th episode, but there's so much more I didn't get to that I want to do. So
I told him he had to stop at 4 for the Kickstarter because we don't have time.
But yeah, this is a really fun world to live in with these characters, and it's a kind of crazy place where anything can happen. And so I can kind of take the story in a lot of different areas that are fun to explore. And again, I think people just enjoy the humor and the lightness of it, and I hope so anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, it looks awesome. I really like it. Even it sounds like there's a lot of nostalgia and stuff with some of the characters and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, the people that know me know that those characters are all based off someone that I know. So, I'll let you guess which one's me, but yeah. So there's a lot of personality there that comes straight from me, and just like I said, when I was writing the comic, it was a bit therapeutic as well. Because I was in IT support and doing user support, and so obviously that's where the name came from. And so yeah.
Awesome. And when do we have to have our guesses in for this?
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
that sounds like a giveaway.
That does sound like a giveaway.
We could definitely do a giveaway, with this if you wanted to. But yeah, there's also that reminds me, I don't know what is still in the workings or whatnot with the giveaway geek, but you guys are giving something away. Am I not mistaken?
We're gonna give away 2 copies of the game along with any stretch goals or anything that happens. They'll get that top game tier package, and so that'll the comic book, the roundy, the 4-player game, and our stretch goals. We've got some cool stuff you can get in addition to what is there, and so we want to promise 2 copies of the game. So we'll get 2 winners instead of 1, which I think is fun. I always feel like 1, you never have a chance.
Well, there you go. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so we'll do that, and maybe we'll give out a couple roundy pals for 3rd and 4th people that are picked or something like that. But we want to do something creative so people feel like it's the lottery. So sometimes you only win back your money, like a couple bucks or a ticket, but at least you can get something. So we'll figure out a way to make it interesting and fun.
Well, there you go. And we'll make sure we, because we'll keep in communication with them. And as soon as we have all the details or whatnot, we'll go ahead and include them in this episode as well. So we'll go ahead and throw that on the back end or whatnot.
Yeah. It'll be fun for sure.
Awesome. Yeah.
Now, I know you guys have been busy and whatnot, not necessarily able to consume podcasts like you used to like to, but the next portion of our podcast is called Adventures in Application Acquisition, where we talk about an app, be it for your cell phone, your tablet, your computer, or even a video game, and it doesn't even necessarily have to deal with tabletop board gamers or evil zombies or megacorps or corporations or anything like that. But is there an application or an app you guys use a lot of that we can talk about for a moment? You guys could maybe both pick one if you guys use different apps or whatnot.
I mean, I'm obsessed with Star Wars Force Arena, but that's not very useful.
Oh, nobody said anything about useful. Did I say useful?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. He could talk all day because he lives on that game.
No, I really like that game. It's just really simple, fun, and obviously I'm a Star Wars geek too. So,
okay, what can you tell us about Star Wars Force Arena?
it's a tower game where you take a character like Luke, and he has Obi-Wan with him, and you pick your units and cards, and it's pretty much a PvP. So you're battling another player, and the games are like 2-3 minutes, and you keep upgrading your characters, and it's just a lot of fun. Probably because it's Star Wars, but I love that type of game. That's just get into it real quick and get out, and then another one's around the corner. So kind of how we approach beta as well. So I like the quick fun ones.
So if you own the rights to that app, what would be one thing you would do to fix it or make it better, Matt?
I'd probably make it a stupid users game.
Well, there you go. Yeah, is there going to be an app for that?
Yeah, so I mean that's one thing we didn't talk about, but we are developing some games. So along with all this, on the website, there's some games that we're going to release. We have all the 3D models, and we're building out some ideas from simple casual games to more in-depth games. I love strategy stuff, so we'll probably seeing a stupid user strategy game before too long.
We'll get through this part first. But yeah. Did Matt tell you about the AR component that he's been working on with the cards?
Oh no,
I'm not sure. Well, yeah, what can you tell us about that?
So yeah, I mean, we have a 3D models. So part of the game is you get an app that you can download for the game, and when you point the app at the cards, they pop up with more information, maybe backstory, maybe it's just like information about the character and the powers. So we'll be doing some fun stuff with that. We're going to keep evolving that app, and building all that stuff. And also at the convention, if you have the app as well, any of our posters that you see around are also AR enabled. It allows you to dig into this like 3D world of from one of the comic panels, and you can kind of look behind, cupboards and stuff and see the characters.
Super cool.
And get information and find Easter eggs. So we're building that into the game overall. And it depends how far we get with it, and but it'll keep evolving. So it's just the start.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool. So if I understand correctly, you like take a picture or scan the card, and then you get more information.
Yeah, so the cards are essentially targets, and so I built the app so it detects which card it is, and it launches a scene on the phone that you can look through and move your phone around. Like maybe it's just the 3D character there in a pose, and you can like look behind them and just kind of look at the world itself in a whole different way.
Yeah, and you'll be able to scan it on the posters for those next 2 conventions we were talking about. We've got those all set up.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's awesome.
So cool. I can't wait to show it off. It's Matt, like what he did with it is it's pretty sick. Like it's all the little things he thought of and the details and where you can find information and how it pops out at you. It's really, really cool.
I developed software.
Cool. And when you have the Kickstarter page up and ready to go, is there going to be any kind of preview of that as well?
Yeah, we're going to have a little something on there about the AR component. We could probably build a target into there just to see if people could play with it. But
yeah.
We kind of want to approach this a little differently. So any kind of fun, things we can do, we're definitely going to try to knock out. We're kind of nearing the end of it. We're going to launch here soon, so we can't do everything that I wanted to do, but it'll all be coming eventually. So
yeah,
you better hurry and get that 5th comic ready.
Yeah, right. I've already got it in mind. So
there you go. Yeah, luckily Mandy gave you the cutoff so we could get this game into the world.
Exactly.
What about yourself, Mandy? Do you have an app you use a lot of that we can talk about for a moment?
Well, most of the apps I use are work related. As far as like I really dig InVision. It's a design app for web pages. We do software, and so and I project manage and run our company. But so I spend a lot of time on InVision, and I really like that. But for fun, I've been a tad addicted to Walking Dead, the new Living World one. Have you played it?
No, I haven't even seen the TV show or whatnot, but what can you tell us about the app?
Oh my gosh. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I told you I like dark stuff. Walking Dead, it's based off of the show, and basically, are you familiar with Pokemon Go?
A little bit. Okay,
so Pokemon Go, like you're walking around and you're catching Pokemon, right? And so I played that a lot. And then there's another one that came out for Jurassic World Live, and so I played that with catching the dinosaurs. But Walking Dead has got me hooked right now because it's just got it's a little bit it's a different gameplay than both of those, but it has a similar component where it interacts with where you are at. And so as you move around, so you drive to Walmart, you're going to find hordes of zombies or people to save or that sorts of thing. And so then you enter these situations, you kill all the zombies, you get coins, you get cards, you get weapons. And then so you're upgrading cards so that your other players who are helping you are killing better and faster and quicker and stronger. You're upgrading your weapons so that you have extra magazines and less time to reload and more powerful grenades and all of these killing things. It's awesome.
Okay, but you go around like in Pokemon Go, but you're not necessarily collecting Pokemon.
No, you're killing zombies like you would in Walking Dead, and then you're saving people, and you can take people. You take the survivors, they call them. You can take them to a shelter and drop them off there, and that gives you a specific type of card. If you take them to an armory, you end up getting weapon cards. If you take them to a trading post, you end up getting coins. And if you take them to a warehouse, I think you get a combination of weapons and other teammate cards. And you get to choose your teammate and your weapon for each time you go into an encounter or infestation or a survivor thing. And so then you're trying to tick all these things off the board so you can get more tokens, more gold, more points to upgrade the level of your person and all the other cards. Like, it's just, you keep going around and around and doing the same thing and different things, and it just gets harder the higher you get in the level, but you get cooler cards. Like, I just opened up level 10 and I'm trying to think Glenn. Now I can get Glenn, and I'm super excited because Glenn I was so sad when he died. Sorry, spoiler alert if you're behind.
Oh boy. Well, there you go. That sounds pretty cool. So if you own the rights to that app, what would be one thing you would do to fix it or make it better, Mandy?
I would like it if I didn't have to be as far away from some things to get them, like just a little bit closer. Because where my house is, there's a survivor, an encounter, and oftentimes like 2 survivor things. And sometimes, what's that other mode? The battle mode where you're going into the savior, the raid. And so I can see all of those things, but I'm just a little bit too far. So if they could just tighten up that radius, that would be my request.
Well, there you go. We try to make a green podcast around here. So you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Gamer Life. If any of the creators or any of the people that deal with updates are ever listening, you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Gamer Life, what Mandy would do to make that app a little bit better for her. And speaking of liking the dark humor, Mandy, but as well as liking it toned down a little bit so you can play with your kids. I don't know if you've heard of this one, but I was just speaking with a gentleman last night or whatnot. The podcast should come out this upcoming week or whatnot, but he's launching a game called Night of the Living Maples that is based upon the 1968 rendition of the movie.
Nice.
I think I saw something for that today on Facebook when I was scrolling around.
Yeah, he's actually launching it on this next Tuesday the 28th.
Oh, he is. Okay, I'll have to look for it.
It
I was like, that sounds interesting. We'll have to see what happens. Cool.
But that sounds like it might be up your alley or whatnot.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Now, we don't want to keep you up all night or whatnot, but minus coming there to California or whatnot, where it sounds like you guys might be from, how would people go about keeping up with you guys or whatnot, minus coming there to stalk you in your hometown?
Keep up with us on our Facebook page, which is Stupid Users Beta, and that's where we're keeping the spending the most time at the moment. But you're welcome to always send us an email if you want to be on our newsletter, and you can just send it to company@dent, DENT, studios gamerleaf.com.
And we'll make sure, if you get us the links, we'll make sure we get everything over there in the show notes so they don't have to necessarily type everything in and whatnot. So that's awesome.
Right. Yeah, I can send that over, and then we'll put you on the list. And like we promised all of our other people on the list, that we won't spam you. We'll send you a reminder that the Kickstarter is going to start and when it starts, and maybe a couple in between. But we've kept our promise so far, partially because we just never entered them physically until like last week.
Well, there you go. Awesome. Yeah, but like I said, we don't want to keep you all night, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Gamerleaf with us to talk all about Stupid Users beta card game that's coming to Kickstarter pretty soon here.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem at all. You're still with us? Awesome. I just got word from the creators. If you go ahead and leave a comment on our original post on our Facebook page, Getting Geeky with Gamerleaf, you can go ahead, if you get the right answer, to which character in the game that Matt Jacobs, one of the creators, is fashioned after. You can win. The first one to get the right answer wins a digital copy of the comic as well as a print and play game. So definitely go ahead and check that out. So go ahead and leave a comment with the correct person who you think, or just describe them in the comments and let us know who you think Matt is representing on our Facebook page underneath the episode show notes that are on our Facebook page, Getting Geeky with Gamerleaf, and you'll be qualified to go ahead and win your own copy of the digital comic as well as a print and play version of Stupid Users beta card game, which, by the way, we will be reviewing pretty soon here on the podcast, so watch out for that as well. Anyways, our least favorite time, your least favorite time for us to get on with our lives, you to get on with yours. But in the meantime, go ahead and get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into geekful. We'll catch you all on the flip side. Gamerleaf out.
Gamerleaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamerleaf's luck holds up.